Welcome, busy gamers. Today we're going to be looking at Inkbound. If you're already familiar with the First Look series, feel free to go ahead and skip straight to the section you're most interested in, but if not, let me walk you through what you're in for as we get started. For me, the first few minutes of a game are very crucial. As they set a tone, they determine if a game is really going to grab me. I don't want to dedicate a bunch of time to a game that cannot grab me early. I don't believe that it is worth it if you need to invest 10 or 20 hours into a game before you get to the fun. So for this series, I'll be bringing you along as I first step foot into a game. I'll put a timer up and play for around 30 minutes. As I play, I'll be giving you my live thoughts and reactions before I give a short summary of my impressions at the end. So why was Inkbound chosen? Inkbound was developed by Shiny Shoe, and you may have heard of them before. They are the creators of the wildly popular Monster Train, a roguelike card battler, which I am a big fan of. While it's mostly been replaced in my playtime, it was one of the originals, and it did a lot for the genre. This game, however, is a turn-based but action-oriented roguelike. In the game, you're going to be exploring the magic and the danger of the written word and using books as portals to another world. After all, the Ethereum contains every story to ever be written, so there should be some diversity in the areas we explore and play in. While I'm primarily a solo player in games like this, it's also really nice to see that there's cooperative play for up to 4 players included here, and there are several classes to experiment with on your runs. Let's go ahead and dive right in and see how it is. All right, off we go with Inkbound. Let's go ahead and hit play and see what this thing has got in store for us. We have to choose a character name initially, and that cannot be changed. So let's see. Alturas is usually my go-to. Let's get that going. A little bit of a load, probably a bit of a story intro. The sea of ink. In the dark ahead of you, a speck blinks alike and pulses as you move deeper into the world. The narrator has a nice voice. I don't know why I talked over him. Looks like we have a health and a mana bar here, some resources I'm not familiar with, and we are level 1. This is interesting. I'm kind of a formless blob at the moment, and this looks like an MMO's skill bar down here. Now we have some glyphs. I definitely cannot read that. That's like a ink pen nib, which I like. We recently did the review over another painting and ink based. Embrace the light. Okay, I think I just accept and I get access to a resource. Until all you can see is light. I will say I judge early game quests in which the entire quest is to accept a quest. A moment later, it blinks a light by your side. Okay, I've got a resource that's following me. You move a little jarringly fast there. That's interesting. Yeah, great. Yeah, throw kids into the sea. That's how you raise a child. That's a very, very weird thing to come across and see. The character design over here is pretty cute, though. Pretty interesting. And needless. Okay.
But they've bound a new quill.
They found a quill.
They like those needless very much, so something has to be going on.
Okay.
That makes no sense.
Stories are fading.
Long before more quills started showing up.
Needless to fall back into the sea where they came.
Aww. Why don't we at least let them choose their aspect and forms first?
Okay.
It'd be a shame to not
You can
even
choose. I'm going to assume this is like a class. Okay. Now we have character selection, so select an aspect. Keep swinging your hammer to build up heat and deal bonus damage. Don't stop unless you risk cooling it down. This sounds a little barbarian-like, so gain a stack of heat whenever you hit an enemy, granting an ability power. On 5, get a shield. On turn end, use a binding. Okay. Bonk. Costs 1, deal 45. Leaping strike, and smash. Okay. I like the look of the Weaver here. Artisan with the power to spin magical threads, control the battlefield, so a general controller. Each thread's shielding, support-based character. Moss Cloak. This is going to be what looks to be like a Ranger DPS here. Honestly, I think the Moss Cloak looks the coolest out of your starting characters. I like the idea that you can see a few of the unlocks here. I don't know if that means these other 4 are not yet in the game. Star Captain feels off compared to the theme of the others. I like this, 2-shield wielding guy here. Let's give the Moss Cloak a try. Let's not really think about it too much. Gain 1 shuriken, unleash them with its bindings. We can throw, we can dash and inflict mark, and we can deal damage consuming shurikens. Okay, let's just do this guy. And then there is some character design. I think I just assumed that this would be less MMO-like. I like the idea of just being a singular eye. So there's some okay, mildly interesting like little character design templates over here. Not a lot of character customization, but they do exist. I think we're just gonna go with, I don't know, eyeball or blue hair. Both interesting. We're just gonna go with the eyeball. Nope. Back to blue hair. We're gonna go with that. We'll venture further. We have a battle here. So I can't decide how much this is going to be like a card battler. This is supposed to be a turn-based battle system, and I think I expected a little bit less of the character customization. Combat tutorial. Alright, it is turn-based. It's my turn. Enemies are showing what they plan on doing. Makes sense. He's coming at me. I would assume that means 2 damage. He is currently damage immune. He's coming at me, but I don't see any damage on that. Maybe this 2 just means 2 people are attacking me. Can freely move. Try moving to the shiny spot. I can also just click there. The 2 has, I assume now, definitely means that 2 things are attacking me. I'll try moving to the next glowing spot. I can do that. So you can use WASD or you can click. Unraveled or trying to destroy the world. Move near the enemy and prepare an attack. Okay. If I click on it, it just moves me near him. Kind of puts me on top of him, which is awkward. Your abilities are called bindings. Click on the first one to start aiming. Deal 50 damage, plus 15 crit chance. Okay. Once you've selected it, it kind of has this. It doesn't look like it does not highlight the other one, so I don't know if that's because he's invulnerable or because you truly couldn't get 2 people in the area of an attack. Let's just do this. Okay, so we can hit both of them. It's just because it's invulnerable. I saw a 0 flash up. Bindings consume will, attack enemies, and use up the remainder of your will. Okay, so you've got a little bit of will each time. Dash, inflicting mark, gain a shuriken. Let's see if our dash would hit 2 people as well. It definitely would. Dash through. We have that flurry. Let's see what the flurry looks like. So flurry actually has a decent range as well. Let's give that nice throw there. Now, how many shurikens I have? Maybe that consume your shuriken. Okay. So I have 3. I don't know why this one does less damage, though I suppose with the benefits it might deal more. Okay, that did absolutely nothing. He remained invulnerable throughout all of that. We'll end the turn. He did a whole 1 damage to me. Enemy attacked. You'll need to watch your health and ensure you stay alive. Okay. Blue glowing orb spawns. You can collect these to reduce binding cooldowns and restore will. Okay. Now that you've learned to defeat... Useful, you've learned to defeat enemies. Okay. It doesn't seem like there's much to it. Let's just mark him. and nail him, and he's gone. I don't know that I feel like there was a lot to that. I'm hoping, you know, we add a little bit more.
Looks like you're not dead yet, so that's a good sign. And the form you chose is wonderful.
Very complimentary. So we've got a happy, like a good and a bad guy here.
Quite unusual. It seems the ink has.
Oh, yes, it does.
Okay.
You've already performed bindings and everything. Quite the
Yes.
Needless and a binder. Guardian ahead will not be as kind. If you defeat it, you and your quill are fated. Okay, so these guys, I don't know why these guys aren't helping. It's the last Guardian. Find an exit. Okay. Maybe the boss fight will pose a bit more of a challenge. I'm sure this is still primarily... Move it, move it. You have a limited amount of movement each turn, as illustrated by the blue ring. As you move around a smaller ring, will show how much movement will be left after you use a binding or collect an orb. Okay, so as soon as I use something, I won't be able to move anymore, I think. Doesn't 100% make sense to me. Knock those guys out, move a little bit more. Now I am trapped inside this circle. Oh, he can still hit things. Now that I've done two things, I can't move. But I can use his additional skills. So I could hit this guy. And immediately kill him. So he didn't even take a turn. Okay. We're still ramping up the difficulty. It's early on.
Binder of some strength, though you will continue to find these.
They're taking all the ink away from us, making our stories fade away. Bad little unraveled. Bad.
For now, though, it's time you leave
These
this
guys are
place
odd.
and venture to the Athenium, the
All right,
center and
go to the
stronghold of
Athenium,
all these worlds.
Stronghold of the Worlds.
Like us much in there, so best if we say
Why
goodbye
are
for
these
now.
guys
But the
unliked?
Athenium is
That's
not
very
yet finished with
interesting.
you, Needless. Your
I hope this is loud enough for everybody to hear. There's a fair amount of dialogue, and usually have it turned down so that I can talk, because I don't want to have too much of the music there.
Packed with emptiness, but full of stories.
Empty but full of stories.
Clock of
Huge
books and
clock.
tales looms above
I like the
the
narrator's
streets.
voice, I'll give it that.
From the countless black depths, damp breezes moan to light.
I will say that while I like the overall voice there, I'm not yet bought into what's going on. This is a public space. I see like some high levels here, level 98. Let's go look at the bindery.
Of the ticking.
Giant wheel of books and gears. All paths lead to the heart.
Don't you touch that bindery, Needless.
Okay.
Or your next dive into the inkwell will be your last. If even one book...
Not a heart, then. A brain.
Okay. Can't touch that. And we can just wander around a little bit. It says speak to the gatekeeper though, so I probably should actually just talk to that guy. I think it's interesting that this is a little MMO-esque and that you can see a lot of people here. I knew it could be multiplayer. I don't think I expected a live world, so that's interesting. Unlocks access to the Athenium.
All you Needless just traipse in here, still damp from the sea from which you crawl.
Inkbound created you with
I
more
thought that surely the
sense.
Inkbound had created you with more sense than that.
See, he looks like a human.
Well, you're in the Athenium now, Needless. And no binder worth a short dive into the inkwell should give us a good idea of you.
At the very least, knock sense
And
into
at
your
the very
head.
least,
Yes, at 35,000 experience, cosmetic items are unlocked through the leveling process. So I think that is good. Maybe it's potentially going to be generally a difficulty thing. There won't be a ton of anything other than the cosmetics to unlock. And we are heading into an inkwell portal. So it looks like we need to be over here. Quick dive, deep dive, longer run with more choices, win at your highest challenge tier to rank up, and then a daily challenge. Okay. Just take on the quick run here. Looks like that is what it's wanting us to do. Gonna be run based, little roguelike here. Okay, enter a new world from the Sea of Ink and deal 20,000 damage as a side quest. Okay, has little bonuses before we start, like a lot of roguelikes. I do like that. On your first turn, gain 1 stack of evasive. Dodge instead and lose a stack. On hitting, inflict poison. Seems useful. And Frostbite, we can deal some magic. When a binding has a critical charge, deals this percentage in bonus damage. So I don't really understand how this particular thing has additional crit damage on it. It is not a damaging skill. When a binding has a critical charge, deal this percentage amount. So maybe ups it there. Let's just take the Elusive Whisper. It might up my damage on one skill. Not 100% sure.
Laps against the straight edge blocks you walk along. You're back,
Okay, I see a little bit of a water effect over here.
but it's not quite the same sea, is it? You can make
Okay, there's an intent and form to this. Talk to the scribe. Another needless. Okay. Inkbound is trying. I'm sure you're the ones actually fighting the villains, nasty creatures. Okay. You can call me the scribe. Honestly, it's best you keep our meeting between us. Interesting. And then we have 3 choices, it looks like. So we could go to a garden. We could go to a market. Or we could go to training grounds. We'll just go to the garden. That sounds nice. I'm sure it won't be, but it sounds nice. It's pretty. I mean, a little bit lo-fi on some of the charm, but it's pretty. We have multiple combat encounters there, and just kind of not a living area, right?
underneath the brush. You can make out the remnants of a once well-manicured garden. The overgrown forest that towers over you now retains some of that
Danger and hostility. That being said, it's just the platform where I choose between Common Augment, Tarnished Vault, Common Augment, Willing Cage. So I don't know what either of those are. I don't think it really matters for me. Let's just pick one. We haven't learned enough to know kind of what we're getting ourselves into yet. These yellow resources, we haven't really explained yet. We're gathering up some as we break things and wander around. The circular areas are combat encounters, I believe. And could we walk away? We could indeed. We can walk away without doing them, but we can't trigger the next area. Wasn't sure there. Alright, let's begin the combat. I do believe those are AoE effects. So what we could do, we could get right around here. Go ahead and do an attack through these two. But it will not kill them. What a bummer. Or we could dodge through them. With a little bit of interaction with a button there that is causing me some problems. Once we dodge through them, we can definitely kill at least one of them. Looks like we can get to this power orb and get a little bit more done. Get them both killed. Is it worth going into his range? I don't know what these little ink areas are, these circles are. They could be spawn points. We can do that, and now it won't let me get away, so I may regret getting up close to him. We'll say we're done. Those are spawn points. So that's kind of what we're contending with there. I believe if we go through here, kind of phasing through and then doing the attack, seems to be kind of my wheelhouse. Come back out here. Let's give it another attack. That's going to be all we can do. Your binding has gained a critical charge. Bindings have a chance equal to your crit chance to gain this charge. We'll do bonus damage next time they're used. Okay, great. I want to be careful about that as much as I really want to go ahead and kill. You know what? Honestly, I still have to just go ahead and kill this guy, even though it's a bit of a waste. I feel like less enemies is always better. So we're done here. We've got 3 shurikens. Unleash on this bad boy. So we will lose quite a bit after this. 4 shurikens. It's a lot of damage. We will then throw. Actually, we're going to dodge through, so we're out of that guy's range. And then do some throwing. Finish him off. End the turn. This ink starts to encroach, so I'm going to assume that that means we have a timer basically on the fight. That doesn't increase my shurikens. I'm just fighting away here. If I were to dodge through, he will be marked, and then we can just end him. So we took very, very little damage there. I feel good about that. And we can augment, give ourselves crit chance and damage, give ourselves poison throw. I would assume the picture here tells me which skill it affects only. And then bigger dash range. That dash has been wonderful. We're going to take a better dash range. Vestige looks kind of like items from other games. That's what we're going to take them at. On your turn, 2 games spiked. Click to marked on the furthest enemy. Okay, plus 100% incoming damage. That's pretty big. Shattered Will. Stacks gain plus 1 will. Our will is this bar down here. I have 4. I'm not really experienced enough to know enough about what that means. Let's take additional marked. It seems like that is going to constantly be good. Inscribe a new power. And physical damage plus 10 per point. Crit chance is high. We're doing physical. I feel like that's kind of the damage we've been done. Our stats. Will reserve of 4. Will per orb is 1. Our physical power is up to 1. Our crit damage 75, but our chance is just 8. So less than 1 in 10, that's just not going to be much. Not impressed by myself yet. Trove of Bindings. Click on, move on. I like the general art style. Some of these trees are a bit too simplistic for me, but the bright colors are nice. The combat where I've taken damage hasn't been terribly noticeable to me, I would say. New skills. Teleport a far distance away. And turn start full will discount. Maintain ability power. Steal Quillings. I don't know what Quillings are used for. Used every 4 turns, used every 2 turns. These are physical damage, so gaining ability power seems not useful, I guess. I don't know that I know enough to make an informed decision here is the problem. We're gonna take teleport. Teleport sounds interesting. Your quill senses forgotten power. A rift in the story, powerful change, and gain a free binding augment. Purchase another. That's probably how we use our quill. We're just going to go to the ruins. We're 1 out of 7 of what is like a general meta achievement, I would assume. Up that crit chance. Crit damage is bad without crit chance. Disintegration oil. Left click to consume. Hex and shatter on all enemies. Hex is receive 30% incoming magic damage. Don't really do that. Shatter is 30% physical. Okay, so we get a little bit of both. More poisons. This is potions. 15 shield, 10 spiked. Shield is not explained here. I assume it just absorbs 1 hit, but it is not explained there. We're definitely going to take one of the uncommon augments. I am certain they are harder, but no risk, no reward, right? Another 9 or so money there. Does not appear that it gives you much. That is a, what I can only assume is a big attack. And I'm assuming those are like, at the end of this turn, 100 HP to all enemies. In that range, I would assume. Very hard to tell. We're going to try to dash around behind these guys. That way we can mark them and then attack them. And see if we can manage to at least beat this guy down. If we teleport, is that going to remove my turn? Because I'd like to come over here and attack him as well. We should be able to get 2 attacks in, kill both the healers, and end our turn. Like that. We are now in range. It doesn't look like I've taken any damage this turn, but I would. Has this reticle here. We've got 2 spawn points. What does this guy do? Okay, that changes based on how far I move. So if we were to come over here, always kind of using that dash and mark ability. See if we can kind of position ourselves where we can hit them. Well, that guy has a lot of health. If we were to get close, could we then use the shurikens to take him out? We could, it looks like. Let's get close adjacent and shuriken him down. Our power orb here. Just dump the rest. And then we have this that seems free. So we could teleport again for free. We are in risk. I don't understand how we're getting damage. I'm getting some form of damage. I don't know what it's from. Still getting the damage. I'm nowhere near here. That is just a treasure pot. And it's gonna flee. Okay, so I basically didn't do anything to that. You have to mouse over the little symbol to get anything out of it. So I did take some form of damage. I don't know if you just take general damage for existing in the world. I don't feel like that's explained. That's maybe a bit frustrating on my part. I really like to know why/how I'm taking damage. So I would really appreciate that. It's going to be my immediate kind of frustration with this game so far, is that it's just not giving me enough information. Now we're not taking any damage. I wasn't able to kill that turn. You can kind of see the outside coming in. Does that poison me in some way? It does look like it, of course. I'm kind of boiling now. And this guy is our boss. I have 4. Alright, let's see if we can just go ahead and teleport over by him. Or do we want to? Is there a chance of getting rid of him? Maybe. We use all of our shurikens there. Nope. We're gonna get rid of that guy though. Then we're gonna get a power orb. Yeah. In a bad situation here. Alright, we're just gonna teleport over here. And we technically moved ourselves into damage. Let's dash a little bit out of it. It says we're still taking damage. Frustrating. This guy, maybe? Okay, so we took damage from him, even though his circle wasn't as wide as we were. I do not like that at all. I think it needs to be much more clear about damage. I'm always going to be frustrated in a game if I'm taking damage that I don't understand how to avoid. Done. So we are about a 1/5 of the way to our 20,000 damage. We have gotten ink globules. I don't know what that does. Let me get some more augmentations for my binding. On your turn, gain 1 shuriken. I do feel like I already have that ability. Maybe I would gain 2 per turn. That could be really cool. Shielding, blink. I would gain 2 shield when I do that. Ooh, gain shield on the dash. I'm taking that. I use the dash all the time. And just add more physical power. I feel like I'm mostly using physical power, but poison, damage over time, usually very good in games. I should probably be taking that. We are already at 30 minutes. So I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, even though I feel like I'm not necessarily understanding it yet. We'll go ahead and take a pause, talk a little bit about how I feel so far, and then we'll probably continue to move forward and play the rest of this run. I expect to have feedback and a review out within a week of this game. That's where we're at. Okay, we are at the end of our first look for Inkbound. What do I think so far? I think it has an interesting little theme to it. I'm not really figured out the story yet. You are an ink-based creature who kind of came from the sea. They are calling you a needless or a needleless, it seems like. And so basically I don't have like a pin nib for the head, I believe. I'm not certain if that's true or not. There are kind of humans in the world, and then there are some very odd, that's those black and white creatures that you talked to earlier. There are a couple of funny moments to it. I like the voice acting of the narrators. It's nothing spectacular, but they have pleasant voices, and I think the theme is interesting and different than you see on average. It still remains to be seen if the story itself will be good. There are quite a few players in this particular game. I saw a huge amount of people just kind of in that early lobby, and then you're taking these runs. The combat is interesting, is fun to kind of plan out my turn for damage. The positioning and everything is good, and I like that. The things I think I didn't really like, it appeared to give me areas of damage and everything for my enemies. However, I didn't feel like it was terribly accurate, meaning sometimes I took damage when I didn't think I was going to. Sometimes it looked like I was taking damage, even though There were no enemies around me. Nobody appeared to be targeting me. There was no real indication that I was going to be hit. And so I didn't feel like there was anything I could do about that. And I think that was a bit frustrating for me. Not a huge deal. I'm sure I'll figure it out long term. But early on, that was an initial impression that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. They should just be a bit more clear about it. All in all, though, I am pretty excited to keep going forwards and give this one a review. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and until next time, have a great time gaming.